they had this little song they do.
Good morning, everybody. Here we are in Beaumont, a suburb of Portland, Oregon, with Rhonda and Ron Piasecki, graduates of the school back in the day, 1989. Who was first? Were you the first? You were first in '89 with guitar, and Rhonda was '91 with the drums. And so a brother and sister combination of different years, but still both went to the school, which I thought was a wonderful and rare occasion. I don't know if we had any other brothers and sisters there, so you guys probably are classics, you know. You might have your portraits in the school right now. I'm not sure. How did you get started with drumming? Whatever brought that on?
I tried a couple different instruments when I was at school. I tried violin and then a little bit of guitar. And then there was just something about the drums that caught my eye. And honestly, this is really silly, I was 12 years old at the time. And I started listening to the band Kiss, and I really liked Kiss a lot. And I noticed the drummer was a cat, and I loved cats. And honestly, that's why I picked the drums.
So, well, that's fascinating how, in this case, a woman, female, going to the school, how did that affect you being in there with kind of what I would call a man's world of drumming? And yet, by the way, historically, some of the outstanding drummers that ever came out of that school have been women. But anyhow, and you being one of those, so could you say how did that feel? Were you given any leeway there, or were they on your side?
Yeah, I don't feel like there was any prejudice at all or anything like that. I was really focused when I went to school. I mean, I knew I was only going to be there for a year, and I just knew I'm going here to play, and that's all I'm going to do, and I just want to focus on that and get as much as I can out of the school. So I didn't really feel like I had any kind of prejudice or anything. It was more like a camaraderie, really, with people in my class and other classes as well, because I ended up going to a more a reading class that was above my class, because I liked the challenge. So I never felt strange.
Who had the greatest influence on you?
I would say definitely Joe Porcaro with playing technique. I learned a lot of playing technique from him that I still use. And then also I had, and now I can't think of his last name, of course, Mark Rio.
Mark Rio,
Mark
yeah.
Rio was, he was really helpful in that I was in Schroeder's class, and you know, I had to do a lot of soloing, and it could be really intimidating, especially in the old school on Hollywood Boulevard, where it was like one big room and everyone sat down and got up and played. I think that might have been jazz class or something at the time, and so there were all these like European guys that really had chops and stuff, and they would get up and do these solos, and I'd be like, oh my gosh, and then it was my turn, and I, you know, did what I followed the melody pretty much of the song, because that's how I learned how to play along to solos. And Mark Rio was there to say, you know, what makes you think that what you played isn't as valid as what they played, and that really stuck with me. And being in Schroeder's class, he would kind of, as you're playing, he'd be on your shoulder, kind of telling you.
Really?
Yeah. It'd be like, yeah, you know, keep with it, and push the time, or you know, whatever. And like I'll never forget that. That was really stuck out to me. And also Fred Dinkins as well.
Fred Dinkins is one of the
like
greats. Yeah, you
huge.
betcha. Yeah, a lot of the graduates that came back to teach turned out to be exceptional teachers because they knew what they went through, so they really are empathetic to you. And Schroeder, by the way, she's talking about Carl Schroeder, who was a keyboard player, not a drummer, not a guitar player, but he was a great musician and had played with the greats over the years, and so and also his delivery his teaching methods with a great sense of humor and a very interesting man. So I hear this from everybody in all the schools that Carl was one of their best influences and the most enjoyable classes to be in. How do you think MI has influenced your life since you've been out?
I think it really gave me the opportunity to figure out like where I was at with my drumming and kind of if I had it, so they say, you know. And over the years, just pretty much gave me confidence and gave me an opportunity to have all those playing experiences. So I gained that confidence, and I just kept with that over the years. You know, pushing myself and trying to get into situations. I was in a fill-in position where you just, you know, you're kind of up on the stage, you don't even know what's coming at you. And, you know, I think having that playing experience at MI really helped me in those kinds
You
of
know what
situations.
you felt like walking up those steps and into that weird little building on Hollywood Boulevard, and how you must have felt. Maybe how did you feel just walking up the steps the first time?
Actually, I kind of grew up when they had that movie out, Fame.
Oh, yes.
And I felt like that when I first walked up the stairs, because I remember hearing the music and everything, and I was like, oh, because I remember watching that movie going, oh, that would be so cool to go to an art school like that, you know, go to a music school like that. And I kind of got that kind of feeling out of it. I also was terrified, and, you know, when I walked into that room that had the, you know, it was like, there was like a stage, I guess. I don't know if that was an old movie theater or whatever, and seats and stuff.
That was an acting school.
That was like, whoa.
What advice would you give him, knowing what you went through at MI? What would you advise them?
I think what really helped me is to stay really focused on my goal and what I needed to do for myself. There's, especially when you live in Hollywood, there's so many distractions, and the school is overwhelming because you have so much stuff going on that after a while I was like, oh my, I couldn't try to see everything because it was just too much. It was like I was on overload, so I had to just buckle down and say, okay, what am I going to focus on right now, and just kind of have that goal of remaining focused and practice those things that aren't comfortable to you, because that's what I learned at MI was don't work on things that you already know. Don't sit down and play the same old beat. Work on the stuff that you don't know and the stuff that's uncomfortable, and then that's the stuff, you know, that you'll get more out of your
Well, there's two more
sessions
things I'd like to ask. One is, what would you say, just if you can think of one anecdote or little thing that might have happened that raised your eyebrows, made you smile, made you cry?
I think there were more than one. Because I just, you know, you're getting so much information thrown at you every day. It's so hard to even keep up with it or even gloss the surface of the information that you get that you're trying to learn. So I would get to the point where I'd be totally overwhelmed. And a lot of times I remember going into my private lesson with Fred Dinkins, and a lot of times we would just, instead of having a lesson, because he knew I knew the stuff, I didn't have trouble with it. It was just more like he needed to give me a pep talk. So a lot of times we just spend time talking. And then the other thing that really helped me at MI as well was I also sing, but I never had any confidence as a singer. And so sometimes I would take the opportunity during rock performance or a vocal performance to actually be the lead singer instead of being the drummer. At the end, I combined both. So I was singing lead and playing the drums at the same time. So I never did that before, so that really gave me that opportunity to do that and realize, yeah, I can sing as well. So that was really good.
Wow. Well, which leads us up to here and now. What's going on with your life right now?
We're called the Lesser Bangs, and I'm playing with some of the musicians that were from the previous band, and now I'm singing and playing. So I sing some of the songs. I sing backups on others, but I'm singing and playing again. So we still have the solo sections that are more open and kind of jammy. So.
If you wouldn't mind just taking a second and tell us about your little business here in Portland.
I have a business, a chicken sitting business called Justice Hens, and I live in Portland, Oregon, and this area is pretty, a lot of people have backyard chickens, so when they go out of town, they need somebody to take care of their chickens. So
I love
That's
it.
pretty much what I do.
Oh my gosh, I love it. Oh, beautiful. Well, that adds to your character for sure.